Welcome to blindmotherhood.com. I get a lot of emails from mothers asking me for advice on how to safely complete some tasks with their newborns or infants. And most recently, I got a request from a mom about how to safely burp their child. And when you bring home a new baby, it can be very nerve-wracking to do certain things, and burping was definitely one of them. You don't want your baby to be uncomfortable with any type of gas in their stomach. You don't want them to be colicky or cranky, and you just want to make them feel better because you're their mom. So, my daughters right now are almost 4 and just turned 2 years old, so they don't need to be burped anymore. But what I'm going to do for you tonight is I'm going to demonstrate how I burped my children using two methods on this baby doll. And I will apologize because she is a little bit creepy, but we'll use her anyway. Got to go with what we got, right? Okay, so first method, probably the classic, right? Over the shoulder. So the first thing that I will say is you always want to make sure you have a burp cloth handy. And what I'm going to use to represent that burp cloth is just an old kitchen towel. And I mean, of course, when I had my girls, I did have all these burp cloths and things like that. But since they are the age that they are, I've gotten rid of a lot of that stuff over the years. So I'm going to take this burp cloth, kitchen towel, and put it over my shoulder. And what you want to do, right, is to take your hand and run it from the front to the back. You want to make sure that there's no lumps or anything like that, because when you lay your baby down, you need that to be flat and flush. You don't want this to become a choking hazard, right? This is only to make sure that if your child does spit up, they're not spitting up all over you, right? Okay. Then you want to safely pick up your baby. Remember, always support the head, and you're going to put the baby up on your shoulder. Now, I'm going to turn a little bit for those of you who might be sighted watching this. So you want to make sure that your baby's sternum is kind of sitting pretty high up on your shoulder. If your shoulder is kind of hitting that top part of the baby's chest, it's going to work some of that gas out just because you're putting a little bit of pressure on it. Now, the other thing that I will tell you is you always have to check the ear. Now, because this is a doll, I'm going to manipulate the head of the doll with one hand, but a baby's head obviously will go where you put it. So you want to turn your child's head and make sure that one ear is flush on your shoulder and the other ear should be pointing up towards the ceiling, okay? This will let you know that your child's head is in a position where the mouth is free and oxygen can move through the baby, and there won't be any chance of choking, all right? If you're able to, I want you to try to touch that burp cloth and make sure nothing is in that baby's mouth, okay? Reach over with your hand. Always make sure that that child's head is supported on your shoulder, right? So you should have one hand kind of up by the baby's head, one hand on their butt, kind of holding where the diaper is. Then you're going to slide that hand down, right? Once the baby is up there and firmly secure, and I want you to tap. And you're going to tap that baby in the middle, and then you're going to go and make little circles on that baby's back. And just wait. Sometimes it takes a little while for that baby to burp, right? And like I said, different strokes for different folks. Your child might like this method. Your child might not do anything with this method. They tend not to do what you want them to do, especially as they get older. So you're going to keep moving, trying to burp. Okay? Once they do burp, you're going to pick them back up, right? And back to whatever position you need them to be in, okay? Now, give your child a few minutes with the burping, okay? Try the shoulder. If it doesn't work, then maybe that's just not for them. The other method that I used was the lap method or the sitting method, okay? And what you want to do this time is take that burp cloth, right? And you can open it up on your lap. And you're going to put your baby on that cloth. One hand supports the back of the head. The other hand, you're going to use your thumb and your pointer finger. And you're going to open it up and let your child's neck and their chin kind of sit in there. You're going to cup it, right? And you're going to hold the baby, and I want you to lean that baby over just so slightly. Again, that actually lets your palm put pressure on that top portion of that baby's ribs, right up to that sternum, and will help work out some of that gas, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to pat, pat, pat. You're going to go around in little circles, right? You might feel your baby moving around. It's okay. You're going to talk to it. You're your mama. You got this, mama. You're going to be fine. Mommy's got you. Don't worry. Come on. Do a big burp for mommy. Talk to your baby, right? When you can't see, your baby needs those audible cues, right? They need to hear you. They need to hear your voice. You need that because you're going to start to listen to your baby more than relying on your eyes as a visually impaired parent. You're going to know the differences between the cries. You're going to know when they have gas. You're going to know when they're upset. You're going to know when they have maybe a diaper rash, okay? These are the things that you have to listen to and that you will figure out as you go along your parenting journey, okay? So if the baby burps or if they spit up, they'll usually spit up, through the legs or maybe on top of themselves. You could always take the burp cloth if it's a long one and kind of use half of it to go over your child's legs and almost have them sitting in almost like covered a little bit in the burp cloth, and that will catch anything that maybe falls out of their mouth if they do spit up. Okay, again, give it a few minutes, see if anything comes out. If not, move on. Lay the baby down. Baby starts crying, give it a little bit. Don't just jump up on the first time the baby cries, right? And then you go over and you see and you try again and you see what happens and see if the baby will burp. My rule of thumb was every half ounce I would try to burp my children when they first came home from the hospital. So a baby will usually drink before they leave the hospital anywhere between 2 to 2.5 ounces. My kids were big babies. They were close to 9 pounds, so they loved to eat, never gave me a hard time. They burped like crazy. My younger one was a little bit harder than my older one. But they definitely were good eaters, and they're big girls now. Their daddy's a big guy. But it took some time and it took some patience. With my first daughter, I was an absolute nervous wreck. Nervous, nervous, nervous. And you know what? It's totally okay because you're supposed to be nervous. Just know that when you're nervous, your baby's going to feel your nerves. And that's fine too. It's all part of the process. If you have questions regarding burping your child, right, reach out to some of these organizations. Reach out to your pediatrician, all right? If you are breastfeeding, you can reach out to your midwife, right? Or La Leche, I believe, is the name of the organization that helps with the breastfeeding. So, they have people that work for these organizations, work for insurance companies that should be able to offer you some type of perspective. I think as blind parents, I think we get very nervous because we feel more judged than maybe a regular sighted parent. And you know what? We're entitled to that learning curve. So if you have a question, you need to ask. That's the best piece of advice that I can give you, and you shouldn't be afraid to ask. That is your right as a mother, and that is your right for your child. So make sure to find the information and do what you have to do to get the information. So I hope this video about how to burp your child has helped you. And if you have any other questions or would like me to demonstrate something on video, please send me an email to holly@blindmotherhood.com. Thanks so much, guys.